This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
I'm Roby Brock. Welcome to today's edition of Talk Business and Politics. Here are your top stories of the day. Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson said today he expects Arkansas Works, the program that uses federal Medicaid dollars to purchase health insurance for lower-income Arkansans, to be strengthened based on health care reforms coming from the Trump administration. In other business, the governor said he doesn't expect the state to have a problem obtaining the drugs it needs for executing 8 inmates that are on death row. And he said that a measure allowing concealed carry weapons on college campuses may have to wait for the next session, though he hopes it doesn't. There is some talk that the measure may be studied in the interim. 2 proposed constitutional amendments passed the Senate State Agencies and Governmental Affairs Committee with no debate on Tuesday, leaving them one step short of making it to the ballot. The committee also advanced a bill that would fold the State Board of Election Commissioners into the Secretary of State's office. A Senate resolution that would place caps on jury awards and a House resolution that would require voters to present a photo ID passed with no debate within minutes of the meeting's start. Both have passed the House and head to the Senate floor. They don't require the governor's signature, so expect them to be 2 of your constitutional amendment proposals in 2018. Finally, Walmart announced a new program today aimed at making it easier to refill your prescription or to get a money order. Through its Walmart Pay app, the retail giant had introduced express lane options that allow shoppers to skip service lines at the pharmacy and the money transfer desk. And those are your top stories for this Tuesday. You can catch more at our website at talkbusiness.net. A quick break, and we'll be back with George Jarrett, our intrepid Northeast Arkansas reporter. Does Jonesboro need a commercial airport? And later, AEDC Executive Director Mike Preston on the good and the bad that President Donald Trump brings to the jobs climate. We're back after this.
Arkansas Electric Cooperative Corporation provides electric energy across 2/3 of Arkansas. This is an exciting time in our energy history, with incredible progress being made in renewable energy and storage technologies. As our energy portfolio continues to diversify, we'll maintain an all-the-above strategy to provide reliable and affordable electricity. Ever since the first light bulbs were placed in our members' homes, the electric cooperatives have been the solutions provider for our members, and we want to continue that well into the future.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America, moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
I love you too.
Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.
I did.
And welcome back to Talk Business and Politics Daily. I'm Roby Brock. I'm joined by George Jarrett. He's our Northeast Arkansas business and politics reporter. Thanks for being here in Little Rock.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate you making the trek on down. We had other business to discuss. So, hey, we could maybe make your trip to and from Jonesboro a little faster if one of the stories you've been working on comes to fruition. Leaders attempting to develop a plan for commercial air service in Northeast Arkansas. How realistic, by the way, I'm not paying for the jet to get you down here.
Right.
So, how realistic is that, and how big of a need is commercial air service out of Jonesboro, Northeast Arkansas?
Well, I think it's a need that's starting to develop. Realistically, it's going to take a while. They have a couple of obstacles. Right now, they get about 9,400 passengers per year that take air flights out of Jonesboro to other locales. And they've got a regional carrier, Air Choice One, that does that. They fly people to St. Louis, places like that. But one of the major problems they have is that they have to reinforce their runway. And it's going to cost about $14 million. It would take several years probably to do the work. It'd have to have at least 8 inches of asphalt. Obviously, $14 million in any part of the state, that's a lot of money to spend.
That's a pretty price tag right there.
Right. To spend on one runway is a lot of money. So what they're trying to do now is develop data as far as what the economic impacts would be to Jonesboro and all of Northeast Arkansas. They get a little bit of money from the Federal Aviation Administration each year. It's not nearly enough to cover an expense like that. Kind of their goal is they hope within the next 5 years, maybe they can develop a plan that will lead to maybe possibly grant funding or some other funding source to pay for that runway. the former, Speaker of the House, Davy Carter. This is an idea that he's floated out there to us a couple of months
Banker
ago.
up in Northeast Arkansas
Yeah,
now, right?
he's the current regional president.
Wasn't there some
Bank.
talk at one point in time that Walnut Ridge would have some sort of regional airport there? I mean, I think there was some talk of a regional airport, like XNA up in Northwest Arkansas.
Absolutely. Walnut Ridge has the second largest airport by square footage of runway space in the state of Arkansas. During World War II, it became a pilot training center, and so they've got 3 runways up there that could possibly be used for commercial air service. And they tried for a couple of years to try to get that service up there. They ran into a lot of obstacles. I mean, it was still going to cost a lot of money. They would have to develop the funds. And, Walnut Ridge is kind of out of the way, so they would have other logistical problems, getting people into bigger towns and
Didn't
cities.
stop the Beatles from going there.
No, it didn't. No, in all fairness, the Beatles, the only place that they ever set foot in Arkansas when they were a group was in Walnut Ridge, Arkansas.
That we know of.
That we know of.
That's right. All right, let's turn to another story. Arkansas State University reworking its contract to get a little bit better financial deal, at least on paper, with their campus in Mexico. Everybody that I tell this story to is like, Arkansas State's going to put a college campus in Mexico? Maybe give everybody a little background on why this is developing.
Okay, so basically what happened was a few years ago, Arkansas State University and a group of investors in Mexico decided to come together and build an American-style campus in Querétaro, Mexico. Querétaro is about 200 miles north of Mexico City. And basically how the agreement works is ASU will, they'll develop all the academic programs. They will lend their brand, the Red Wolves brand, to the school. They would help in the administration and all those types of variables. They would hire the faculty. And basically what these investors would do is they would develop the campus. They would spend the money to build an 800,000 square foot, monster college building and all the dorms and all the other things around it. And kind of what the financial agreement was is that ASU originally would get so many dollars per year per student once they reached a certain enrollment number. What this new agreement allows them to do is now they get it's like a commission. They get a percentage. And it's a tiered percentage system. It starts off with 1% versus so many students.
So they don't have to wait till they hit like a high student enrollment threshold, so that makes some sense. So the commercial air service would help in getting to that campus too for some of those officials, but I'm still not flying you down to Mexico for any kind of behind the scenes stuff there. So so it's a 2018 open, correct?
No, it's supposed to open in the fall of 2017. And if this arrangement works out, it could be a windfall for ASU financially.
Yeah, how big could it be? 140 million?
$140 million is the projection
over 20
right now.
years. That's pretty big time. All right, last question for you. A nonprofit group wants to launch an innovation hub up in Northeast Arkansas, similar to what we've seen in North Little Rock and up in Northwest Arkansas in terms of just this entrepreneurial drive that is going, this ecosystem that's developed out. How close do you think they are to getting accomplished what they want to get accomplished?
They're probably a couple of years away. The Delta Regional Authority has given a nonprofit group in southern Missouri and 2 counties in Arkansas, Randolph and Sharp. They've given them $100,000, and they've also got some matching grant funds. And what they're trying to do is they're doing a feasibility study. They're trying to figure out, they're studying places like Hardy and Pocahontas. They have a lot of craftsmen in those areas.
Right.
And it kind of makes logistical sense in a way. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to find a potential site, a building, to put one of these innovation hubs in. They're trying to gauge interest from the community. They're trying to figure out how many professional people they can bring in to be a part of something like that. And so this is the first step towards building one of these innovation hubs. And there's there's a need for it in those counties. The 4 southern Missouri counties that are included in Randolph and Sharp counties have relatively high unemployment compared to the state and national averages. The earned income levels for median household income levels in those counties is a lot lower than the national income level. So basically what they need is they need to develop entrepreneurs and business leaders. People have good ideas, want to start businesses, they need to give them the tools to do it. And these innovation hubs provide the expertise to do that. Right. And they also, they have creative spaces. You might have somebody in one spot painting, and right next to them there might be somebody who's working like in stainless steel or woodworking or something like that.
They can find some ways to collaborate when they do that, as well as share some of the hard asset resources like 3D printers and stuff like that. Maybe they could find a building at a commercial airport up in Northeast Arkansas, and all three of these stories we just talked about
can come together. Absolutely.
Come together, a Beatles song. See, we've come full circle here, George. All right, he's George Jarrett. He covers Northeast Arkansas business and politics for us. Thanks for putting up with my bad puns. I appreciate it. We're back with more right after this.
Circuits turn on the lights by making a connection, by closing the loop. At Entergy, we believe our economy is circular too. What you put in comes back. So we invest billions in new infrastructure, which helps attract new industry, which helps create new jobs. We partner with local communities to electrify the economy. And together, we power life. Entergy.
When was the last time you felt free? It's time to uncover that feeling again with the compassion of a cross and shield, accepted by over 90% of doctors and specialists, and the power of a card that opens doors in all 50 states, giving you the freedom to love, to dream, to dance like no one is watching. Arkansas Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Live fearless.
Mike Preston is coming up on his 2-year anniversary as chief of the Arkansas Economic Development Commission. With a new president, this economic developer says there is some newfound enthusiasm working its way through the pipeline. Well, you may have noticed we have a new president, Donald Trump. There is a lot of business and CEO confidence, though, with Donald Trump's presidency. We're seeing some numbers that have really sustained for a couple of months now. What are you seeing in terms of the pipeline? Is it truly resonating and becoming something that's feeding the project
It's a great
pipeline?
question. It's interesting, Roby, that you bring that up, because I go back to November, and right before the election, all of a sudden we kind of saw a real slowdown on our projects. The pipeline was kind of stopped, and I think everyone was just sitting there on the sidelines waiting to see what happens in the election. And then the election happened, and Trump becomes president, and all of a sudden we start to see an uptick. And right now, our pipeline is completely full. Our project managers spread as thin as we've ever been. Wow. And you're right, because it's coming back to CEOs have confidence. They have confidence in the economy right now, and some of the talk that Trump has been talking about, cutting taxes and cutting regulation and reshoring jobs, we're seeing that. I think we've been in line for jobs already coming back from China, and a company in Tianyuan who's going to do garment manufacturing in the U.S. I mean, we're kind of, Arkansas is a front runner on this. So exciting times for Arkansas in manufacturing, but all of our economic development projects.
As with Trump, it can be a double-edged sword sometimes. He has gone after some businesses, too, through social media there. Does that worry you? Do you see anybody kind of a little hesitation there, like, let's be careful? Or?
You know, it's a balancing act, but a lot of times businesses certainly don't want to be named in a tweet, certainly not from the president. So there's definitely a double-edged sword that you got to be careful of. But from what we've seen, for the most part, all the feedback has been positive, and people are excited about, less regulation, paying lower taxes on a federal basis. I think economic developers in Arkansas and really all over the country get ready, because our pipelines are going to continue to be full, and that gives us the opportunity to compete a little bit more against our sister and brother states around us, and hopefully we're going to win some of those deals.
That's Mike Preston. He's AEDC's executive director. You can catch his full interview at our website at talkbusiness.net. That is all for today's edition of Talk Business and Politics Daily. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.